Cryptozoology. You know we are lovers of all of the creatures that haven't been discovered. Cryptozoology. They're freaks of Mother Nature. We're here to teach about their habitats and behavior. The school system should take out math and replace it with cryptozoology class. We're cryptozoology addicts. We want to learn about Bigfoot, so screw mathematics. And it's a fact, Bigfoot's a real species. Cause scientists have found Bigfoot feces. And
what was that? What's that sound? Where? It's aliens and they're living in your town. Damn. They have arrived. What? They're all around. So many aliens living in your town.
Hello? Is anybody out there?
Yes.
Is this on?
Feels weird.
It is. We are back, baby. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the 2019 Weird and Whatever podcast. How the hell is everyone doing?
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to 2019. It's got to be better than 2018.
Okay, tell me a couple things, Vicky, that you hated about 018 and that you loved about 018.
Hated, obvious. I lost my mom.
Okay.
Loved, well, the time I got to spend on the Weird and Whatever.
Oh, look at that. I love kiss asses. It's a great.
Thank you.
Okay, Denny's.
I'm excited for 2019 as well. You know, everybody has their own. Some people, I've already talked to some people that have had a bad 2019 so far. I've had a pretty good one.
We call that a New Year's redo, Denny's. Yes, we've got people emailing the KVJ show all the time saying, my 2019 is starting off terribly. It's still very early. People are already breaking the resolutions. Do you guys believe in resolutions?
Yeah, I think it's always good to have goals.
What's a New Year's resolution for a Beckett?
Well, I've played around in startup world for a long time and decided not to go the corporate role, which is kind of masochistic, but in my opinion, the only way I can go about life. So, hoping something gets traction because it's tough to live the startup life.
Yeah.
We're getting deep early. I like this. I can tell we haven't cracked a mic for a while. Just let the emotions out. Let's get raw.
Might shed some tears on this one.
Let's get some tears. I got beers. You want some tears and beers?
Sounds good.
I think we do have beers.
We have a refrigerator stocked with beer if you want one. Okay, so that's what you're looking forward to 019, kind of just
some more fulfillment. I would say financial success, but it's deeper than that. Just more fulfillment. I have a startup I'm really excited about. That's a blockchain project, and hopefully that gets some legs.
Vicky, what are you looking for 2019?
I am going to try to relax more. I'm going to stop overreacting. I'm going to stay away from like negative news and negative people and things that are going around that are like not equal and fair and all that kind of stuff, and just walk away from it.
It must be contagious because there's a bunch of people, not only in my personal life, but people who are emailing our show saying, I'm getting away from not only the news, the negative news, but social media in general. I'm done reading all this negative shit. And not everybody on social media is negative, but there is a lot of it.
Right.
And I kind of, I think you're going to start seeing more people getting away from posting everything.
For sure.
I mean, it just seems like everyone is at a point now that as soon as they have a thought in their head, I got to go to social media and post it. And then 20 minutes later, they're like, what was I posting?
I think it was the exposure of a lot of people's privacy was being invaded without even them knowing until, there's the court case with Zuckerberg, and then a lot of the companies admitted that they're using the people's information, and then there was the conspiracy about you say something and the next thing you know, you go on social media and it's on your phone, how the microphone listens. So I think this is going to be the year of anti-technology. I think people are going to go the opposite way, not as technologically.
When you say technology, though, I think it's going to be more on the social media tip, not... People love technology. People love seeing the gadgets and everything getting better and quicker. I'm a dinosaur when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, I'm talking about like cell phones.
Got ya.
Like, I don't think, because like right now we have everything on our one cell phone. That's what I mean by technology. I'm sure we're going to still use like coffee machines and stuff like that.
Well, I was asking the guys yesterday, imagine what the world's going to be like in 10 years from now. I mean, think about the world 10 years ago and now 10 years from now. What do you foresee for planet Earth in 10 years? If you had to guess, let's start with our psychic. Do you sense anything?
I'm going to see us working less and less and more things being controlled with thought. In other words, instead of me having to pick up my phone, it's going to be flashing around in my head. I'll be flipping through Facebook or whatever they call it then in my head rather than having to touch it.
Is that good? is it good that we are getting that lazy? Because I know technology makes us quicker, faster, we're more efficient, but are we losing a bit of soul?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's you look retrospectively, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. Like, there's going to be some great leaps in medicine and convenience and health and fulfillment, and then with all those, there's downsides that are going to come with it too. It's inevitable.
Well, think about it. When humanity first formed, you had groups of hunters, gatherers, and they would go out every day and get food. Every day they had to survive. Now that we have conveniences, that gives humans more time to create, more time to invent things, more time to create art, stuff like that.
Problems, drama.
Well, that's what. So there's where the
Exactly.
argument stands that if we have no natural predators, if we aren't, attacking each other, trying to expand, and we have things provided for us, foods then we argue about things that don't matter because those things now matter because we're not worried about survival. So we don't have to worry about big things. We're worried about little things now.
Throughout human history, do you feel that right now in modern times, humans are the softest, meaning just as far as, like you're saying, not afraid. And I'm talking collectively because I know there's parts of the world that really struggle.
For sure.
But collectively in modern times, are we the softest we've ever been as humans right now? Because like Denny's is saying, there's not those threats like, predators constantly trying to get you. And are we too coddled? Are parts of the world too coddled?
I think that we have an interesting problem in that we are, instead of being what's more natural, to Denny's point, through evolution, which is having extreme stresses, that we have this flight or flight emotion and we survive the lion or whatever, and then we go back to baseline. Now we have a different problem where we walk around with levels of financial stress, psychological stress that just continues to hover in this like uncomfortable zone a lot, in terms of social media pressures, bullying online, all
More
these
mental anguish.
Yeah, so I think that there's some things that we're actually have more grit about because we never used to have to deal with some of those things. We never used to see the guy with 8-pack abs and driving a Lamborghini and thinking that's how normal things are.
Why did you bring up 8-pack abs back in? Because let me guess, you've got 8-pack abs.
Not anymore. 2019.
But that is right. Yeah, we don't have those things to worry about. So it really takes a lot of, we have different things. Like you said, nobody would be able to achieve that back then. Well, so back in the day, if you looked, people's beauty was determined by, their paleness of their skin.
And how fat they were, because that was a sign of wealth.
It meant they didn't have to work, and they...
Oh my gosh, circa 016, I would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see the big smile on my face when he just said that? I'm like, I would have been so upset.
But now, we can get food. We can, work comfortable jobs and stuff. So now it's almost looked better upon if you have a physique, only in the sense that because a lot of work goes into that. It's almost whatever takes more work will always be what's sought out, I think.
Psychologically, people are drawn, both sexes, to success. Right, so if the time warranted someone that had a lot of weight on them because they were successful and had plenty of food to eat, then that was something that I guess females were attracted to the king. That was really, really big. Now, to Denny's point, success is if you spend an hour in the gym a day and are making tough decisions about your lifestyle and eating the protein shake rather than the bag of chips, then that's success, that's motivation. And I think that deeper down, like that's what people are attracted to.
Well, you talk about attraction. Here's my question. Is attraction, what drives attraction? Is it a natural instinct? Do you just automatically, are you attracted to somebody just because the chemistry is there? Or does pop culture, does society, does all of that stuff kind of skew what you think? Because you're talking about pale, overweight, people. That's kind of the opposite of what modern society is for some people. At least that's what the media makes you, try to believe. For example, if we were raised to always, to have cockroaches be delicious. Those are we love eating, we love eating roaches and worms, and that's how we grew up. That wouldn't be weird to us because that would be our normal. Would we have that same kind of feeling if that's how you were raised? To let's say you only could, a person with one eye is the hottest thing ever. Would that be what's driving the needle when it comes to attraction?
I think your initial attraction is your own intrinsic what you find attractive, and then society changes you from that. Even though it's like, it may be 30 seconds that you meet someone and you think, oh my gosh, she has the most gorgeous eyes, and then after that 30 seconds you're like, oh, but she's overweight, and you know that may not look good if I go out with her and things like that. So I think your initial attraction is yours. I think it's then that society and what they've determined to be attractive takes over.
That's an interesting
For sure.
perspective. I like that. Very good. Yeah. Denny's?
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think for females, I think security and comfort is probably their deep desire.
Denny's, are you trying to talk for women?
So I'm
are you
just-
mansplaining? Denny's is mansplaining.
Well, so if back in the day that was physical prowess to protect them, to build them shelter, and in present day it's money because that's financial prowess that person then could provide to have a shelter built and food provided. So I think it's, and for men, I think it's reproduction, man. I think if we think a woman is going to be fertile deep down, that's men drive for that.
I'm hoping she's not.
Yeah.
you don't want kids, Beckett?
No, I do, just not right now.
By the way, are you what's Beckett's dating status right now?
Oh man,
Can we talk about this?
Girls are tough. I can talk in generalities.
Oh boy,
they're tough.
Someone's got.
Well,
Someone's
I texted you guys over the holiday.
Oh, I get. Do you want to
Do you
bring that
remember
up?
Sure.
Beckett did have a. Did you ask Vicky this question, or just me and Denny's?
I don't think I was on that.
No, I asked Vicky, my last girlfriend, a while back ago, and she's like, "Oh, bring in a picture," and she's like, "Yeah." And
Yeah, I was right, and he didn't
she
want
was
me to be
100%
right again, I
right.
guess.
We were all. I think we were all. I think you asked us too, and we're like, yeah, Beckett. We all had the same thing.
Yeah. She was
Okay,
right.
so ask the question that you asked us through the text message. You would paint the scenario, then the question.
So if you were dating someone and there was some gray area, some of which was your fault in terms of like taking it to the next step, and a girl or your significant other, so we can use the example for both sexes, if your significant other that you were dating hooked up with someone else, lied to you during that trip, but then came back and was totally honest in a situation that you would have never found out, and you have a technicality there, even though it felt like cheating, but you have a technicality, but does honesty go a longer way?
Okay, so your text message is a little bit different on how you're saying it
I
now.
think I was included on that one.
'Cause you
That
didn't-
sounds familiar a little bit.
Yeah, you never talked about that technicality. You painted it as you were together, boyfriend, girlfriend. She had cheated, and then she got away with it, and then she was honest, and then you were like, do I forgive her because she was honest about it, or do I let her go?
Yeah, so this was a couple months ago, and it would say that I was watching her dogs, and she spent a lot of time at my house. She didn't live with me, but then you're kind of like, yeah, it kind of feels like cheating.
Were you exclusive with her?
Yeah, I mean, I was at the time for sure, and I thought that was kind of an understanding. I'm not such a label guy, so it felt like it. But
How personal can I get with these questions?
well, the last one, the guy we were talking about, I walked away from a girl in the airport at Dallas Airport. She was flying.
It sounds like a music video, right?
Yeah.
Right, it felt
totally.
like she was flying somewhere else. I was flying back home, and she was just lying to me about making out with a dude when she was blackout. And I was like, listen, it's not ideal, but if you're honest with me, I can totally get past it. But it was the
This is a different girl that was
this is
stepping
different.
out on
yeah,
you?
but that was kind of the manipulation and because I knew it as a fact, and so then I lost respect. The other situation a couple months ago was way worse in terms of the transgressions, but was honest about it.
Can I do? Go ahead.
I have a question. How many women that you can count of have either cheated and told you, or cheated and you found out about on your own? Can you give me a round number?
Because I have a little bit of self-analysis I'd like to do with him.
That's why I'm getting this information.
The
to do
problem
that
is the ones that have
self-analysis.
cheated on me that I may still to this day not know, right?
Just the ones you know about.
But yeah, I had a girl in high school I'd only dated for a few weeks, and she came and told me she had hooked up with her ex-boyfriend, which I respected. And
Can I just throw this out there? And I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
I'm just gonna tell me if I'm hot or I'm cold. I kind of feel like you have a bit of your commitment. You're afraid of commitment, without a doubt. And I think sometimes you like the initial beginning of a girl, the excitement of hooking up with her, getting to know her.
You like the chase.
The first couple weeks is awesome. the walls start to close in. You kind of are slow to make the full-on commitment as a boyfriend guy. You're kind of in that gray limbo area, and then the girl doesn't know where you're at, so she's probably like, here's a good-looking guy. He's probably stepping out on me because he's not committing to me. I'm going to go do my own thing, and that's probably... Yeah, he's probably doing the same thing.
I don't think this
I agree with Dr. Pennington on this one.
I don't think this last situation was that gray. I would say that I have a partial agreement in that I am fine being single and I'm fine being in a serious relationship. I tiptoed in gray areas before, of course, but I'm kind of, believe it or not, I think you and I have lined up a little bit on this. Sometimes I fall hard. I'm a hopeless romantic, and I'm like all in. Like I was the guy in college driving home every weekend, 6 hours each way to be with my girlfriend. I didn't even have eyes, and I was freshman at Florida State. Every girl was hot.
So it just sounds like when you and the girl were together, she didn't know you guys were together. It was kind of like we're hanging out a lot, but we're not completely official because this guy's taking his time on that. Am I off on that?
The couple months ago situation? Yeah. I think it was pretty clear. That was my point. But that's another reason.
but you
that's
just
another
stated,
reason why I let it go, you know?
Yeah, but you just stated that you fall between those lines of it's okay if I have somebody, it's okay if I don't. So she's picking up on those vibes. It's your apathy towards the situation that they're picking up on. And so
as
they're
a
not
psychic,
going
is he
to,
giving off those vibes, Vicky?
Yeah. I think that's what I think. I'm not trying to blame you, but I would say that it's what you are giving off that is causing these things to happen.
Ain't about blaming. It's about healing, Becky.
Yes.
It's about healing. I feel like this is turning to the Dr. Phil show. Yeah, but
I don't think that most guys, even if there was gray area, would be with the girl, watching her dogs, gonna go visit her mom in a different location that would take a flight to go do, and would have it be okay that someone hooked up with someone else and be able to continue.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that you should think it's okay, but I'm just saying that's probably the reason it happened.
Yeah, partly. I think there's a little age thing in there, too.
We've made progress.
I think we made progress.
Yeah.
I feel like this was beautiful. Let's jump into because I don't know how we got to Beckett's love life.
It's a weird situation. I just value honesty, and I will trust you more, even if it's something bad that happened, than if you lied about something small. I guess that's the bottom line.
What if she cheats every week and it's just like, dude, I'm cheating like constantly?
And this guy was amazing. I mean, the best sex ever. But I told you, baby. I'm honest. No, there's a time where you gotta. We're gonna
if she's cheating, just get out of there.
We're gonna delve more into Beckett and why there's cheating going. We're gonna get.
This is why robot sex is way better.
Robots ain't gonna hurt you.
That's right.
Well, unless they murder you. Let's see here. We've got a couple emails here. Speaking of dating, this is a person, Travis from Jupiter. I started dating a girl. We are polar opposites. We both find each very sexy, very attractive. The first 2 months were amazing. I loved how different we were, but now not so much. I'm Republican. She's Democrat. I love meat. She's a vegetarian. I love hard rock and roll. She loves all that pop bullshit. At first, I didn't care, but I feel like now we're just way too opposite. Yes, physically we are compatible, but everything else not so much. What are your guys' thoughts on whether opposites truly attract one another? Travis from Jupiter.
Well, that expression, opposites attract, they can, but are they there for the longevity? That would be the question. If you don't have anything in common and you have things that are so depolarizing like politics, it's really hard, especially in these day and times when it comes to politics, being with someone who has an opposing viewpoint, if they are vocal about it. You know, and a lot of people are when it comes to politics. And some of those examples, yeah, you can get over the meat and the veggie thing. That's no problem. You can each wear your headphones in the car with the music, but there are bigger things that tend to separate people.
Matters of the heart.
Yeah.
Denny's?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like there's core differences a person could be opposite on that won't attract. They probably say the expression because, like, if somebody's too similar to you, you might find them annoying, or because they're kind of like so similar to you, you know.
Yeah.
So on a personality basis, I say you could be a little bit opposite and attract. But yeah, core values probably.
You got to kind of be at the same. I mean,
Yeah.
We hear it all the time. Someone that even just as far as something as simple as one person smokes and the other person does it. In some relationships, that's
enough.
That's a wedge, baby.
For sure. If somebody's healthy and another person's a smoker, the whole time they're just gonna feel like they're killing themselves.
Yeah, it seems weak to me.
Vicky, did you have something you had a little bit of a seance or something going on over the break you wanted to talk about?
Well, we actually did an investigation at my house because things have really been kicking up since my mom passed. And my daughter Lindsley actually has been physically seeing things in the house. And usually our experiences are kind of like shadow type things and voices, and then it was kicking up a level with actual physical manifestations. So we decided to have the team come in because I can't investigate my own house. It's against the rules. So I had the team come in and they set up, and they certainly had a lot of personal experiences while they were there. We didn't get a whole lot of EVPs. We did get a little tiny bit of video evidence, not substantial.
With the investigation of you not doing your own house, you say that's against the rules. Is that
Yes.
your rules or is that a universal rule?
It's a good practice that I've seen in my 11 years of experience that a person should never investigate their own house. It's giving that unwritten invitation for whatever there to stay and to interact with you. And you don't want to be inconvenienced or bothered or constantly harassed by spirits in your house. So you have to put up that barrier. It would be the difference where if I tell you, hey, come and stay with me for a while. Or if I was in your house and I told somebody to stay a while, I don't have the power to tell them to stay at your house. So that invitation is null and void. If I ask you to come into my house, if I'm communicating with you in my house, I've just given you a carte blanche invitation to stay there. So I just make sure that I don't cross that line. And that's why I called in the professionals.
Very cool. Yeah, I think we're going to do something at your house. I think we're going to bring the ghost team in. In fact, we're looking for somebody, if anyone out there listening wants to be a part as a kind of like just kind of to shadow Vicky, to shadow us when we do one of the ghost things that we're going ghost investigation that we're going to do. We want to bring somebody that really wants to do this as a volunteer, but they also have to be very good at social media. So we're looking for someone who wants to help the Weird and Whatever podcast with social media and the ghost team. Is that cool with you, Vicky?
Yeah,
with the ghost team?
absolutely. I'm looking for team members. And so I would love somebody that could cross over and help me as well as help the Weird and Whatever. That would be perfect.
Email. You can send me a DM actually at JasonKVJ on my Instagram. Start sending Weird and Whatever stuff through that. That will be great. But yeah, we are looking for a couple. Then that's great. Love it. So Sarah from Twitter, she's a person that listens to the KVJ show. She went to this really cool thing up north. You've heard me talk about the Devil Tree up there where that police officer killed those girls, and we want to do an investigation up there. Well, there's I believe it's a psychologist that's doing some kind of special lecture that's really delving into what this guy was like, what he was doing. In fact, it's a doctor of psychology that's going into in-depth detail of the story and murders of Schaefer. The doctor is even doing sensory experience where you can really get a feel for the terrible stuff he did to the victims. Would you want to do that?
No, I wouldn't want to feel. I mean, I've been to the Devil Tree and picked up on what I thought were some of the victims and how they felt. I wouldn't want to be part of any experience that made it even more real.
This guy, they said, possibly killed 80 to 100 people. They only got him to, I think, two victims, but 80 to 100 people. He was pure evil, this guy. I think we can get her on too. We can if we want to talk to her. I think I get.
Is she the one that wrote the book?
I don't know. I got to do a little bit more information.
Because there is someone who is local who wrote an in-depth book about Schaefer.
It might be her.
Okay.
I'd love to talk to her. Denny's, you got your own story, a little Loch Ness monster.
Oh yeah, I was wondering what your thoughts would be on this, Bird, because I mean, I know you're a big advocate for the Loch Ness monster.
Yes, I am, Denny.
Yeah.
You could tell he wasn't prepared for that.
Sorry, the page just loaded. So this man, Stephen Feltham, he gave up his girlfriend, his house, his job in 1991 to study the Loch Ness monster and truly find the reasons behind the mysteries.
Okay.
And he thinks he has solved it, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this because I don't know if it's going to be too popular, but he thinks that the Loch Ness monster was a giant catfish.
I don't necessarily disagree with it being some type of large sea serpent, a large fish. I feel like there's something out there, especially when it comes to water. with creatures, and there's got to be a lot of bizarre shit that we have not discovered yet. I mean, they always talk about we know more about space than we do our own ocean,
yeah.
which, by the way, I think is horse shit because I don't think we know everything about space.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I found this thing about the ocean, about this jellyfish. We'll get to that. So this catfish has been measured up to 13 feet long, and they still exist today in that same lake. And what they're thinking is, with the exasperated by the rumors in that photo,
Which was fake, by the way.
Totally, a whole ruse. People had seen these catfish and linked them to possibly being, because I mean, 13-foot catfish is gigantic.
Yeah, but a catfish is a very distinctive looking fish.
For sure, but they're saying they go up and they roll in the water, and if somebody wasn't paying attention,
and they saw
only just the back end of it.
But is it really that controversial of a thought to think that a giant snake lives in a lake? Snake in a lake. Is that really that over the top? It's not like they're saying it's jumping up, breathing fire, and flying. I don't think it's.
Yeah, it's a big.
That's why I never understood people's disbelief in Bigfoot. How do you know it's just not some giant big ass ape that looks like a half man? Who knows? Why is that so out of the realm? Beckett, you look like you're judging me.
Beckett, why is that out of the realm?
Well, the pictures put forward on Nessie looked like a brontosaurus.
Yeah, so the theory was he was a dinosaur who had survived.
Right.
But do you really think that's out of the realm to have a large-ass snake living in a lake?
No, not at all, because, I mean, anacondas, they don't want none.
I mean, that's ultimately what the Loch Ness Monster is, some giant-ass dinosaur-looking...
Unless it's a catfish.
I mean,
He got catfished since '91.
Oh, catfish, damn.
Loch Ness Monster catfishing me.
The ultimate catfish.
Oh, man.
No, but I can see there's a lot of whiskey in that area, and
get out of here with your skeptic.
So I thought that was cool, like kind of an explanation to why multiple sightings have been seen over the years of the Loch Ness, just because of the rumors, and then people seeing random things, big ass catfish in there, and thinking it was some sort of monster.
What do you think, Vicky? You look very not impressed.
Well, I'm wondering whether he was depressed after spending all that time of his life just to find out it was a catfish. I mean, how did he feel about it?
Which is why he started the article with him leaving everybody.
Vicky, it's just a theory. It's all it is. We all have our own. That's really what life is, just a big theory.
Well, so it's kind of cool, which segues to I found a breed of jellyfish. It's the only creature on the planet known to be immortal. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Explain that.
Well, so what it is, they found this type of jellyfish, the Turritopus nuatricola. It's really hard to say.
Nailed it.
Yeah, it sounded good. Well, anyway, it started off just in one region and has spread across all the way to the Americas, Italy, and down to Japan. And it's a jellyfish that regenerates cells. It completely rebuilds all of its cells, and after mating, it's able to regenerate all of its body cells to become young again. So it'll never grow old. In fact, it can't die from...
If you could keep your health, would you want to live forever? If you could lock in at an age, would you want to live forever? Perfect health.
I don't think I would, because I'm already depressed because I miss the 70s.
Well,
if I live forever, I'd keep missing generation.
Go back at it's at your prime. You could stay in the 70s, or you could stay at your 70s self. Back when you were in the 70s, the times may change, but you at your time, you could start back in the 70s. You could live forever. Do you do it?
No.
Beckett, appealing or no?
Back to the '70s?
No, not you. No. I'm saying, were you not paying attention?
If you could be immortal,
would you be immortal?
I'm the only one that could be immortal. And could I choose not to be immortal at some time, or it's a one-time decision?
I don't think Becky was paying attention. Would you?
There's no loophole.
There's no loophole here. If you could be more, are you still thinking about the cheater? Should we not have tapped into that?
So messed up.
If you could live forever in your prime, would you do it? Is that an appealing thought for you?
Yeah, sounds awesome.
All your loved ones die, but you're crushing it.
Yeah.
2,000 years from now, you're Beckett right now, or Beckett. Yeah. Beckett at age 28.
There's now just jellyfish people have been added to the mix. Like there's things you can't even grasp.
I think that would want an off-ramp at some point.
Shit's going to get weird. I mean, we're talking 10 years. Shit's going to get real weird in 1,000 years.
Well, then if you want to off-ramp, then you don't want to live eternally, so...
Yeah, I think that it would end up feeling like some sort of curse eventually. For sure, 100% it would. But I think that if someone were to give someone that opportunity, they could just carry on. Like I'd be a history professor and just do awesome stuff.
Yeah. Do you think you would get sick of being on Earth, even if you had great health? and you are winning in life, as they say, you would get sick of that?
I mean, how many times? Well, I've said to myself, "There's got to be more than this."
No, you'd be a superhero. Because think about it, you could take people out of burning buildings.
But does that get old? It's kind of like Vicky's saying, once you get to the top of the mountain, especially at least on this plane here on Earth, and I've heard other people say this before that are very successful. You get there, you fight your whole life, you strive, you finally arrive, you get to the top, you look out and you go, this is cool, but is this as good as it gets?
Yeah, they want like a party or some sort of celebration, and it's another milestone for you personally.
You still have depression to a certain level because you're human, and I really believe that all humans have some depression on some level when they have to contemplate their mortality. That's a heavy thought for, I think, majority of us humans. You know, I think moments like that totally would play
It'd be
a
like
factor.
you have like the God code on like Doom. You're like unkillable. That would get so boring. There would be no challenge. The only thing that makes life even remotely fun is the challenge.
It's kind of like when I would play a video game and I would put all of the cheat codes on. I was superhuman. Yeah, it was awesome when I dominated for the first,
Yeah, it's fun for an hour.
3 months, but then
you lost interest.
Yeah, because it's not. You're bored. I think the human spirit needs something like that.
Oh yeah, I think we crave it.
So I think we all would want to have a jumping off point. I don't think anyone. I mean, no one in this room wants to live forever.
No,
I don't.
I think it'd be fun to try it on for a little bit.
It's not that, but you're. It's not forever.
So I would say I think that jellyfish story was a success. If I was a success.
It spawned a lot of talk, Denny's.
Yeah,
Is he looking for a grade? That was an A, Denny.
Cool. See, that's what humans crave.
They do. They need the attention. You're
need
validated.
it.
You did
Thank
good,
you.
baby.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that just leads us into Denny's random facts.
All right. Excellent.
Okay, but Vicky is going to grade you harshly in 019.
Okay.
So is Beckett.
Well, here's a cool fact I found. Redheads experience more pain and require 20% more anesthesia when going into surgery because a gene that influences their red hair color also influences all of their pain receptors.
Wow.
Pretty cool, right?
I didn't know that.
Does that mean they're more sensitive to pleasure too?
Oh, probably. Oh,
Leave
yeah.
it to him to take care.
Beckett always turning it into something sexy.
Getting steamy in here.
Hey, you're turning me on, Beckett.
Next picture we see with him is going to have a redhead in it.
Another cool fact I stumbled upon, the Hyperion, I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
Who hasn't, Denny?
Yeah, is the largest tree, and scientists have never disclosed its location because they don't want anyone going there and fucking with it. Wow. Boom.
Wow. Okay, you did not grade his first one.
The first one was a B.
Okay.
That's interesting. That's an A.
Try to find the location, Beckett.
Yeah, there he
I'll
is.
Google it.
Google it.
Beckett's a researcher.
Yeah, it's actually 397 feet tall, almost twice the size of the Statue of Liberty.
Wow.
Okay, my question is, who measured it? Since how many people know about it?
So there's a group of scientists that know about it. It's a California research group, and they won't disclose its location.
Okay.
It says it's the world's tallest known living tree.
Yep.
I love trees. Gosh, I love trees so much. I think they're so peaceful. Oh, that's just a random thought. All right, go on, Denny's.
That's pretty cool, though, right?
Yeah, it's very cool. Like I said, I'm a fan of trees.
Another recent study found that predators in the wild have forward-facing eyes. A majority of predators have forward-facing eyes, and a majority of prey have side-facing eyes to protect against predators. They're designed.
Wow.
Did you know that, Vicky?
No, I did not.
It's pretty cool.
I'm a reading teacher, not a science teacher.
Yeah, I get it.
I
get
could use
it.
your help. Let's have a session after this.
And here's another just fun one for you guys, just a light one for you guys here. The HP, Hewlett Packard, the founders, they both were such good friends, and when they formed the company, they flipped a coin to decide their name. They would have gone with either Hewlett Packard or Packard Hewlett. Didn't matter. They just flipped a coin for it because they thought it'd be cool. And that brings me to my last.
Vicky, what's your grade on that one?
I mean, that has a value, but as far as spectacular, it's a C.
Yeah, I give that one a D.
That's pretty cool. Whatever.
Just kidding.
And then I just wanted to lay this one on you. In my search for random facts, I found a cool article about the first haunted object to be 3D scanned and then replicated with a 3D printer in an attempt to see if the curse transfers over, and also to be able to spread these haunted objects to different museums so people can have a semblance of it. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, was it successful?
It was. Well, so this is what they decided to do, actually. It's called the Traveling Museum of Paranormal and the Occult. They're taking any recommendations, too, of haunted objects. They meet you at your location. They 3D scan it, and then they print it up for you, and then they also add it to their museum, and they travel with it. But they've noticed that some of the more haunted objects have had a difficulty scanning. In fact, some of the objects come out insane and won't be scanned, and they have to talk to the objects to eventually coax it to when they can scan it.
That leads me to a doll question for you, Vicky, or a ghost question, I should say, about one of my dolls. You know, I've got all of my toys and all that.
Right.
So my dad came back from Texas he was staying with me, then he went out to Texas, then he came back with he needed to watch my dog for a week because I went out to Oregon. When I left, because I left and there was a change of energy there, would that have could have stirred up ghosts while my dad was there? Because some weird shit happened while I was gone.
Yes.
I got all those dolls up in the kitchen area. I'm missing 2 now. My dad didn't take them. They didn't walk away. Chewy didn't eat them. There's no way anybody...
You're actually going to find them someplace in a really weird spot in your house. They haven't completely gone. I guarantee you're going to find them in another weird place. But absolutely, any time that you have a house that has spirits in it and you change the dynamic of who's there, it's going to change whether they're going to go more dormant, whether they're going to be more active, whether they're even going to have like temper tantrums because they want that person to come back.
Because it's been dormant. There hadn't been a lot of activity at all. And then all this stuff happened with the couple dolls. It happened with my Emperor Star Wars doll. Denny's, you knew where that thing was at. It was all during when my dad was there. My dad's not lying to me. He's not messing with me because he's not messing with me.
Well, he knows how important your dolls are.
Well, yes, it's very important to me.
He just wouldn't do that.
Very important to my midlife crisis. Very. But I wanted to ask you, could we do an impromptu little psychic reading right now? Can you sense anywhere where this doll, at least one of these dolls could be? You say that I might find them around. Anything leading to where they could be? I want to try to track this.
I mean, have you looked physically behind? I want you to look behind the couch.
Did.
Do it again.
Okay.
Does your couch have like a lining thing in the back that kind of separates a little bit? Maybe, delve into that.
But if it's there, how the hell did it get there?
Don't ask me. In your, your downstairs bathroom.
Yes.
I'd look that area really, really well.
That's what you're sensing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the first 2 places I would tell you. I don't see it higher up. I see it somewhere being on the first floor.
Interesting.
So.
Beckett, what are your thoughts on that? Dolls moving around. What's the skeptic reason why my dolls were gone? What happened to them?
So you're saying your dad's saying he didn't move them?
You're thinking my dad moved him. My dad did not move my dolls, Beckett. I sound like I'm 8, by the way. Yeah. My dad did not move my dolls.
You have a housekeeper?
I do not. I wish. Gosh, I need one.
That sounds like a fantastic idea.
I really need a housekeeper, but go on.
You come home drunk from Blue Martini ever?
I would. If I'm drunk at Blue Martini, I am not going up to my doll area. It's too high. Yeah, it's not me, Beckett. It's not me or my dad. What is it? What's the skeptic response to where are my dolls? They're missing in action.
I don't know. I have to go on trust. Maybe Denny's is playing a little joke when he's over.
Denny's is out of town.
I was out of town the entire break.
See, the skeptic doesn't have an answer.
I mean, if something else moves in the next couple weeks, we can go ahead and set up the cameras and keep them running.
Why don't we do a little brother Jason situation?
A little brother, Jason.
Or big brother.
Big brother. Or little brother. That's cool. You would set up cameras in there? The last time we set up cameras, you said you felt something at my place, and there was some experiences without a doubt, but we didn't really have any EVPs, right?
Well, I think part of it was the way that we did it. I think that if I were to come in without the media type cameras, and see, that's what I think, like a lot of the paranormal shows you see on TV, the evidence is all faked. And one of the reasons I believe it's fake, they are going to haunted locations. But the problem is they're going with the intent to film and to exploit the spirits that are there.
It's Hollywood and they know it.
Right. Whereas if I were one-on-one with the spirits, I have a history of being able to communicate with them.
What do you need? What do you need to make it happen at my place?
Just a recorder.
Just you, a recorder, and everyone out of there.
You wouldn't have to clear everyone out. Just it doesn't have to be, like a big televised thing.
Got ya. Okay, let's do it. What are you doing tonight?
And I do want to make sure that other people are there, because anytime you investigate, you don't want to be the only person there, because there's no one to validate anything. There's no one to say, I saw Vicky the whole time and the recorder was on the table. And if I'm by myself, somebody say, well, Vicky just whispered that because nobody was there.
I see what you're saying.
So there has to be somebody there to validate the experience.
That's kind of my thing. There's a lot of creepy audio of EVPs on YouTube, and they're creepy. They're chilling to listen to.
You just don't know.
But you don't know. It could be somebody in the background. Mommy, I want to kill. We have no idea. Yeah. We weren't there.
And that's like and you'd be surprised how much background noise can be misinterpreted as a creepy whisper. That's why we always have multiple recorders. That's why when we find something, we say, did you have a recorder in that room? And every single person who had a recorder, we go over that clip time and time again, and we've eliminated any chance that it's background noise before we call it an EVP. Because you'd be surprised. Like, there was this one, I had a recorder in one room, and then I had one maybe 2 rooms over. And in the one farthest recorder, I had the creepiest thing. I thought it was a demon when I first listened to it. I'm like, oh my gosh, my first demon. And then I went to review the recorder that was in the other room, and it was something stupid. It was it was the same sound, but when it was closer to where that sound was coming from, it wasn't a demon. It was a natural sound.
Plus, it'd be crazy if all ghosts are like, hello there. Like, they're all creepy. Every ghost.
I mean, are there ghosts out there? I mean, if there's
like,
creepy
hey,
ghosts, are there suave ghosts? Are there goofy ghosts? Oh, hey, guys, how you doing? Yeah, there's got to be all types of different personalities.
We have had spirits laughing at us. We've had spirits making fun of us. We've had spirits, saying, I have an EVP of walking right in front of my house. I don't investigate my house, but I was on my road, and it says Vicky Burnett. It says my first and last name. I mean, you can't get more specific than that. I mean, and other people were like, oh my God, that's so creepy. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. He knows my first and last name.
Do you think some spirits like to be stuck here on Earth? They like it?
They choose. Yes.
And they enjoy it, or
yes,
they're feeling tortured.
I don't know if I want to use the term whether they enjoy it, but everybody has a choice. We have choice now while we're living. We have choice. We have choices when we pass. And at some point, someone has made a conscious or unconscious decision to stay earthbound. Now, at any point, if they want to change that decision, some of them might need help to do it, like what I'm going to do today. They might need that assistance to go to the other side, but they have that choice.
I had a friend over the break pass away and then come back to life. And while they passed away, she died on the table. She felt herself floating, and then they, whatever they did to bring her back, and she came back to life. In fact, she died a couple times on the table, and they brought her back to life. And she swears that she felt floating and all that stuff. So I started doing a little bit more research, and we've talked a little bit about that. But some medical experts are saying that you can die, and the brain knows that you're still conscious. Your brain is still aware that, okay, you're dead, you're not moving, you're just, okay, I've got a couple more minutes, and holy crap, I'm dead. I can hear the doctors pronouncing me dead. That's what's going on. I can remember what they're wearing. And that's where some people say near-death experience is, the brain giving off chemicals. That's not a spiritual experience. So some people say, no, I definitely had a spiritual experience. Why would I float above my body to see what's going on? Because that's what my friend had said. They floated above and saw from that perspective. You would think if your brain is still active and you're dead after your heart stops, you could still hear thoughts. You would be sitting on your bed and you're looking at them from your bed, not from above. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That would be the perspective of that angle. What are your thoughts on something like that?
Or then again, I mean, because we all have out-of-body experiences, whether some of us are consciously do it and some of they're unconscious. So it could be that all that trauma that's going on with your body automatically triggers that out-of-body. And that's why you are floating, because you're having out-of-body.
Yeah, they're saying when something like that happens, after your heart stops and you're still able to have a conscious thought, you're trapped inside your own dead body and you can hear everything. Is that horrifying, or does that give you comfort?
It's hard to say, man.
It's hard to say.
Depends on what somebody's saying, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say to somebody? Okay, Vicky, when someone's having a spiritual experience as they're dying, that's just the chemicals. What would, as a believer of another level, how would you combat that?
Wouldn't feel the need to.
Well, I mean, for the sake of A talk show.
For the sake of this very moment.
I would say prove it.
Okay.
Because they could no longer prove that theory, then I can prove another theory. It's all theories.
Beckett,
and there's nothing concrete.
You being the skeptic on that, what are your thoughts?
I'm open-minded to that kind of stuff because if you can't disprove anything, like, I'm open-minded to it. Who really knows?
Well, do you think when someone's having a near-death experience, is that chemicals or is that a spiritual experience?
I think that the answer is that it could be both. I think that
I don't hate that.
Science could prove that for sure there's chemicals, and I think that's a fact. That's a fact that chemicals are going through your body. If someone has a fear of dying, like they have those hormones that are going through your body that are fight or flight.
Well, it's also probably protecting you too, because you're going into the ultimate state of trauma. You're about to leave the planet.
Yeah, and some people don't feel pain because they have adrenaline. They have people here, they're in shock. So people are in shock and they don't really realize their arm's been cut off. Because they're in a state of shock, and that's a body adaptive survival.
It shows how
mechanism.
powerful the brain is.
And I know nobody here on this panel knows what happens. Obviously, I'm kind of, I guess, more. What's your opinion? What do you are you more saying that it's, if you had to guess, is that chemical? You're going with both.
I'm going with both.
I like it. It's a fair, safe, easy answer.
It's an honest answer, though.
Yeah.
I love it.
One doesn't have to exclude the other.
Right.
Well, it's kind of like when we talk about science and spiritualism mixing together, or science and religion, whatever you want to call it. Why can't it be both? Why can't you use both in unison and have it? There's your answer, Denny's.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. So I know that the brain is super powerful, like as you just said. If you go into shock, your body shuts off all your pain receptors and says, don't worry about this right now, you got to get out of this situation.
Right.
And then when shock wears off, your body's like, oh my god, we're dying. But like, your brain also can flood you with serotonin, dopamine. So I've taken LSD and such, and I've seen how powerful the hallucinations can get.
You used to a long time ago.
A long time ago. I don't think I can handle it anymore. Especially now we got cell phones. It's got to be insane. But back then it was safer. But anyway, so I've seen myself in third person from a different perspective, and then coming back to it and being like, oh my god, I was in essentially an out of body experience while being awake.
You were above yourself and you could see what's going on.
Above and behind, I could rotate, I could control my view of myself from a third person. And then when it wore off, I was like, oh snap, I'm at Hungry Howie's. It was like insane. But
Hungry Howie's, by the way, very affordable food if you're on a budget. And that's
incredibly
they're
affordable.
not sponsoring. That's for the love of the game.
That's right.
Free plug for old Howie.
Yeah, they used to be the ultimate munchie spot because of the incredible
you can buy
savings.
9 pizzas for $3. It's amazing.
So I know how powerful the brain is, but I went on this weird kick of following atheists on YouTube who have had out-of-body experiences or who have had near-death experiences. A person who does not believe in anything, they believe in nothingness, and having an out-of-body experience and then becoming very conflicted by it because they've always been told. But what you could wonder in that, and same thing with people of religion who experience what their religion has told them they'll experience at that time, and people who have been, kind of down the middle, agnostic, not necessarily for or against there being an afterlife or whatever such. But all of these different people, despite what they believed, would have out-of-body experiences. Weirdly, is one common one that reoccurs. Seeing yourself, seeing the light was another common one. But you wonder if that's your brain, like you said, you're in the final moments of this planet. What is your brain giving you what you deep down desire the ending to be to relieve you? So, I mean, technically it could be different for every single person based on what their ultimate comfort would be.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple loved ones pass, and in their moments that they're about to die, they start talking about one person that I'm thinking of. They started to see my mom, started to see her mom, started talking, saying things like, oh, Kay's coming for me. Oh, my mom's coming for me. Stuff like that. Is that go with what Denny's is saying? Was that what the brain needed? Or is that something that was my mom saying, get your ass over here to the other side?
I guess everybody could take solace in the fact that nobody knows.
No,
could be either one.
Nobody knows. That's why we have this podcast.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll figure it out.
We like to, we like to talk about these weird, odd things. I got a couple more emails here. Does praying work? This is what Dave from Port St. Lucie wants to know. Does praying work? My wife prays about everything and she swears it helps her life. She claims that her prayer saved her mother from dying. My question is to you guys, is there any specific or scientific numbers that definitively say prayers work? Just wondering what you guys thought. Sincerely, Dave from Port St. Lucie. I don't have this kind of numbers, Dave. All I'll say about prayer is I know for some people, it makes them feel good in the moment. It helps them just with their outlook and their attitude. And if whether you believe in prayer or not, if it's making you feel better in the moment, I don't see what's wrong with that. I know some people get very, very touchy when we talk about prayer. I'm not saying that you pray and things are going to automatically work out for you. I don't think it works like that. All I can say is when I've prayed, it just makes me feel better just to even just talk about certain things to get it off my chest. I'll let you guys delve into that question.
Well, it could be power of the brain. What you think about, you bring about. So it could be that, if you've had a positive outcome, on prayer, that it was just because you put a lot of energy and a lot of thought into visualizing and positive outcome.
And I think, too, what he's getting down, he's asking, does prayer definitively work? Does it really move the needle?
And he's asking for a study that you would have to do over multiple years and employing, a control group of people.
Well, we got a very good audience out there. They love the research. If anyone knows or has stats to back up any kind of, prayer stats, or if there's any studies that have been shown, I'd love to read them off. I just gotten that email. I had not had the time to do the research on that, but I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, because you could say prayer. Prayer is different for everyone.
It is.
Because, even just a visual board that you put up of things that you want would be essentially a form of prayer, because it's something that you want. You're trying to visualize it. If you're praying for something, you're praying for it. Japanese culture prays to their ancestors, not necessarily asking for anything, but more so just to keep in touch.
Well, I talk to my mom sometimes. I feel like that's a form of prayer.
Absolutely.
Meditation, I think, is a synonym of prayer. I think they go together.
It's probably semantics.
There's different religions that have different kinds of prayers, to Denny's point. What grinds my gears is when people think that just praying is going to solve it.
I want a Lamborghini.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, not to go too far into dangerous territory, but you talk about gun control. And
Becky.
Yeah, I know. They're like, well, thoughts and prayers. Well, that's not going to fix it. You got to do something like me praying, that I'm not going to have heart disease because I eat unhealthy. It's not, you got to do things.
It's not a genie.
For sure, yeah.
It's not a genie in a bottle because that's how, I think that's what people, remember when The Secret was really popular and everyone was on that secret.
The secret that everyone knew about?
Well, I think, again, it's semantics. I think it works from a certain point of view. If you have one of those vision boards and you are taking your attention and you're consciously focusing on something, and that's what you're gearing for, you're going to see the needle move in a positive direction.
Well, there's tons of studies that we've seen we've talked about this before, about placebo. But placebo works.
It does work.
It moves the needle.
Shows you
right?
how powerful the brain is.
It really does, man. It does.
It absolutely does. Yeah. A lot of times, I think ultimately the only thing humans really are looking for is hope on this planet.
Comfort and hope, Denny's.
You just want to know. You just want hope that there's something.
That's what I feel like when people get down to I'm talking the deep blues of depression. I feel like hope is the one thing that they just can't. There's none of it. They can't.
If you lose it, you become Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
You just hope is such an. And sometimes you got to trick yourself. Sometimes you got to. It's a game out here in life. You gotta sometimes trick yourself into being, I guess, happy.
It's all about tricking yourself. Bravery doesn't mean you're braver than somebody. It's just it's bad. You're going into it and you're making yourself do it.
And you can be good point. And you can be a positive person and still get the blues.
Well,
and
for sure.
Get down. And it's how do you respond to the blues? And I think sometimes some people get the blues, they don't know how to get out of it. The hopelessness sets in, and some of it might be chemical, some of it might be trauma in the past. There's a lot of factors, I think. Then if you get both of them working together,
for sure. And then the world's always keeping everyone down.
Well, you gotta align yourself with people who don't keep you down. You gotta try to.
A lot of it's about staying with positive people, or people at least that are in the same. They reinforce your better behavior as opposed to your worser behaviors.
I really don't think I just feel like people don't realize how much environment creates your mood. You can think, oh yeah, my environment, it bothers me, but it doesn't really direct my life or affect my life in a certain way. It does, man.
I'm incapable of chilling out if it's messy. I have to straighten it up. I just have to have I can't, if I put my feet up and I knock something, I'm so mad. It adds to the aggravation.
I'm a big believer of that feng shui stuff. It definitely works, because I agree with you. When things are cluttered and messy, I can't get shit done. As soon as it's clear and peaceful, it's almost it does something to your spirit. It does.
And I've also discovered over the break that I cannot go house shopping on a rainy day. Because no matter how nice the house looks, it looks like crap to me because it's raining, the sun's not shining.
I get it.
No, I cannot go house shopping on a rainy day.
Environment does a lot. Well, my sister, she lives out in Oregon, and she talks about, because her husband's a firefighter, and he has to work those long shifts, and sometimes she'll be at her house, and it's dark, and it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's raining, and it's muggy, and it's freezing, and it looks like it's 7:30 at nighttime. And if you're not constantly keeping your brain active, hell yeah, your environment's gonna screw you over. It's big, Beckett.
I get it.
This was interesting. Talking about healing emotional problems with music. And I'll give my commentary after this email. It says, my 15-year-old son suffers from panic attacks. It was affecting everything in his life negatively until we started exploring something with music therapy. As soon as my son starts to have a panic attack, he puts in his earbuds and starts listening to music he likes. It has helped him greatly. I know you, talking about me, and so many others out there suffer from panic disorder. I thought this could help. Love the podcast. Sincerely, the Thompson family from New Jersey. I will say, because I have really bad situational panic attacks. If I go to an area that I'm not comfortable with, I shut down. I become paralyzed. Denny saw me have one the other day. I will absolutely agree that music in my ears, it's something that I like, does take away anxiety. There's something to music therapy. I absolutely think that's something to explore. I know you may feel uncomfortable walking down the street, you have a panic attack, and then all of a sudden, where's my headphones? You got to put them on. I get that, but it might help you. I think there's a lot of healing potential when it comes to music. Denny, you being a musician, would you like to piggyback off that?
Oh yeah, so I definitely would agree with that, because I mean, there's music that is made to make you anxious, and music that's made to soothe you. It's weird. Music's if you ever watch a film or a TV show without any music, it's always weird. It's like real life, but then the minute a soundtrack's added, it instantly conveys an emotion. You feel for the person. If you take sad images and put something very orchestral over it, something emotional, it really does completely change that.
Music's got a drug-like effect, I feel like. It can absolutely, it does something to the brain. Is that for everybody? Because there's some people who do not like music. They'll say, I haven't listened to an album
I can take it or leave it.
Since 98.
No, I can tell you that music has saved my daughter so many times in so many situations. I love music. I don't know what I'd do without it, but my mother never voluntarily listened to music in any way, shape, or form.
I think there's some healing potential with music. I really do. Not only, and I'm talking about the way I use it sometimes is almost like a sedative. You put on the headphones and it starts to calm you. But there's other avenues that if you're writing music, if you're listening to something that's emotionally getting something out of you, all of that is therapeutic.
Learning an instrument,
writing stuff down, all of that, it's dealing with emotions. I think it's a big time potential healer there.
Yeah, I think more studies need to go into it and more funds provided, especially with our public school system, who always want to take funds from the fine arts programs instead of funding them. I think they would find that they could maybe cut down a little bit on the money they just spent on sending in these psychologists to school and spend it more in our music programs, and I think they'd actually find more bang for their buck that way.
I think that was a Vicky rant. I'm not sure, but I think that was. I like that.
It was a calm rant.
It was good. Are you a music man, Beckett?
I am. I think there's probably a lot of studies that have gone into this. I mean, it takes troops into war, beating a drum like since the beginning of time. And it's maybe not music, but when people, just how your tone of voice, whether it's your dog or It's not even so much what you're saying; it's how you're saying it. It's your tone of voice, it's your inflection, and movies. I mean, we've talked a lot about basic psychology today on the podcast, and it's basic psychology. When you see a movie trailer, you know, it's the crescendos, it's the building up suspense, it's the guy with the deep voice, you know, talking, you know, and it almost becomes cliche, and they do parodies on it and spoofs on that kind of stuff. But that all builds up anticipation. And, you know, can you imagine going to a club and dancing without any music? It'd be weird as can be.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think I'm breaking any news headlines here by saying music is, you know, awesome and it does something to you emotionally. I just feel like it's one of those things that, oh yeah, music, it's great. I just don't think a lot of people realize the benefit it could have
how powerful it
on
is.
emotional problems like panic disorder. I don't hear a lot of people talking about that. Do you? Talking about music healing anxiety issues and stuff like that, depression.
Baby Mozart.
Certain with certain, you know, tactics and strategies, I think it could be very helpful.
Oh, totally.
Maybe I'm in the dark. Have you heard a lot about that?
No, I mean, I know music's used in like yoga, it's used in like therapy. I mean, they do have a correlation with soft music soothing you and aggressive music building suspense and stuff. I think now, like you said, it's become cliche how well we understand frequencies, having the low voice mixed in with the big crescendos, mixed in with the sound effects. All this stuff's like designed to please you and to sell.
That whispering thing people like now. Are you into that, Beckett, where somebody whispers and it's supposed to turn you on?
Only if it's a robot.
Only if it's a robot. What's that called again when someone's whispering? It's like, don't worry about it if you can't think of it. But yeah, that's the new thing where everyone's whispering. Is it for relaxation or is it for sexual purposes?
I think it's both. Like so for me, that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up and it makes me uncomfortable. But for other people, for them, that's soothing. So it just depends what frequencies your body reacts to.
I thought I liked it, and then we played a couple of celebrities whispering, and me and Denny's both during commercial break go, oh, that was making my
dirty.
skin
It makes my armpits itchy.
It does. It made me sweat. I just wanted to rip off my headphones. I did not like it, and I should like that. On paper, it makes sense why I would like that. I didn't like it, Denny's.
It's actually an effective technique to get kids under control in the classroom. Instead of raising your voice, I would always just start talking lower and lower. And then they realized that they couldn't hear me anymore, and they had to shut their mouths in order to hear what I was saying. It's actually better than yelling at them.
Oh, you would have hated me as a student. I'm such a loud. I'm such a loud talker. When I whisper like this.
It's always louder.
When me and Virginia whisper, it's the worst.
You guys both are so loud.
We
I can hear you in the hallway.
It's so terrible whisperer. Let's see what else we got here. We are at about an hour. You guys want a couple Would You Rathers?
Yeah, let's close out with some Would You Rathers.
Okay, this is going to be just for everybody. Would you rather swim 10 miles through an ocean full of human crap and snot, or severed heads and thumbs?
I'll take the heads and thumbs.
Yeah, I'll
go
swim through
first. Heads and
I'll swim
thumbs.
through heads and thumbs all day.
Really? You would rather go through severed heads and thumbs, a whole ocean of that, than poop?
Oh, absolutely.
And then when you threw in the snot.
Yeah, I was cool with poop.
That was the icing, was that snot.
The snot's grosser to me.
What are you going with?
I don't know. I think I go with poop and snot. I think I can get through it quicker.
Okay. No one's going dead body. Or no, you guys are going.
I'm going
Yeah,
with the heads and thumbs.
I'm with Beckett, man. I'm going through poop and snot.
Ugh.
I'm just doing
What
head
if that
out of
gets
the
in
water.
your mouth?
Head out of water. Lifeguard swim.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a backstroke all the way through the heads and thumbs.
No, there's Denny's and Vicky definitely got that one wrong back here.
Get out of here.
Okay. Would you rather be responsible? This is for you, Beckett. Be responsible for killing off every horse on the planet, meaning all horses are gone. You are the reason why they're extinct. Ryan Beckett is. Or you send Jaybird, Denny's, and Vicky to maximum prison for the rest of our lives. And you have to live with, we're all innocent, but we're going to the prison forever. You know it. Both scenarios, you remember it daily.
Beckett has to come in every year for a conjugal visit.
I go last.
Oh man, that's tough.
That's tough? You're going to sell us up the river?
I think
Horses aren't that cool.
horses are an important species.
They've been around for a long time.
So all three of us are gone forever.
I mean,
Vicky's got a daughter, damn it.
I love you guys more than horses, but I don't know. I'm just thinking of the world's greater good.
Every morning you wake up with either, oh man.
I mean, I would put myself in prison for the rest of life.
No, that's not part
but
of
I'm
it.
just
No,
saying
you get
to use
celebrated.
to use an example, like I would do it to myself, so not to eradicate
It ain't
horses
about-
out of species.
No, it ain't about you and your love for horses, Beckett. It's about you making a tough choice. Vicky, who's got a daughter in the next room,
I
Beckett.
put you guys in country club prison.
No, it's maximum. It's awful. When Vicky walks in, they all start chanting, fresh fish, fresh fish. They want, I mean, it's bad. It's real bad.
I don't know. I could eradicate a whole species.
Wow, we're going to the clink.
We
We're
don't even
going
need
to
them
the
for
big house.
transportation really anymore.
But like I said, I would try to put myself in your guys' place.
Oh, you better put something in our commissary then if you're sending us something.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. All right, Vicky, here's
Tough
yours. Would you rather have your worst enemy become the person who gives you a daily exam at the gynecologist, or have the worst period for the rest of your life every single day?
Oh my God, every day.
I'd take the exam.
The exam?
Yeah.
But she's always dressing you up and down with her eyes, making comments.
I got to see her a lot anyway, so
She growls at you.
it's better than having a continuous period. So
Really?
I'm
Okay.
going with
Periods
the-
are that bad?
I'm going with the gyno.
I think they suck once a month. I couldn't imagine like every day, right?
I guess it's different for everybody, I guess. I don't know. We don't have to talk about periods. I apologize. I should have asked permission.
It's been a while since I
should-
had one.
I should have asked permission for that question, Vicky. I apologize. Okay. I have another question for you, Vicky. Would you rather win $50,000 right into your account tax-free, or give your best friend Bobby Joe $500,000? You can't give. She can't give any of the money away. You don't know that. She doesn't know that you're involved in any of this. It just happens. What do? Do you keep the 50 for yourself, or do you give her?
And I can't give any of my 50
You
to her.
can't. You tell nobody of this.
It's like Great Expectations.
Yep. She
And-
either gets
and-
500,000. She has no idea why, or you get 50.
But she is free to do whatever she wants with the 500,000.
She cannot give it to you.
Because I know she would.
She won't. If she does, the money instantly turns into blood.
I'm sure I can probably find a loophole, and I'll just go ahead and take. I will find a loophole, and I will take the 50,000 and figure out a way.
There's an asterisk. If you use a loophole, everyone in your family is vanished. They're gone for the rest of your life.
I hate when you add stuff.
Look, I wasn't finished.
Yeah.
I'd probably then, if I can't do anything and I can't be clever to get around it, 50,000 isn't all that much to worry about someone who needs it more than I do. So I'd probably give her the 500.
Got a bunch of do-gooders in here, Denny's. We got
Look at that.
horse lover and money giver
For the greater good.
You jerk.
for the greater good. Okay, end death caused by car accidents, or have the opportunity to give yourself and 50 other people in your life $50 million apiece. So you have the power to end any death that involves a car accident for all time, or you give $50 million to yourself and 50 other your friends or family. You don't get any credit either for stopping the car accident. It just happens. Only you know till the day you die.
Is that for everybody or just me?
For everybody.
Oh,
Denny's.
I thought it was for Vicky.
No.
I know. I was like, why do I get 3?
She's off the hot seat.
I'll end all car deaths.
You do?
Yeah, end them all. I'm not even in for the accolades.
That a boy, Denny. Becky, you can change a lot of your friends and family's lives with $50 million apiece.
I think I do 50 million apiece because I think self-driving cars are coming out.
There's no loophole.
Yeah.
And just like Vicky, if there's a loophole, more people die. That's how it goes. Vicky, what do you pick?
I think I love us solving this problem in the next 5 years.
No, I know everyone thinks we're going to be driving around in robotic cars. That ain't happening. It ain't. Not in
Back
5
to the
years.
Future came out in the 80s, and we still don't have flying hoverboards.
I'm telling you, in 5 years, it's not going to be prevalent like everyone thinks it is. All right, Vicky?
I would end the car crashes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do too. I'll be a do-gooder
No,
like
look
you
at
guys
that.
because I kind of have to be. Okay, and last question for you, Denny's.
All right.
Stare into the sun for 30 minutes or get rid of Jen's cats. You can't. Okay, when you get rid of her, you tell her that they're gone. Your excuse is how you hate cats so much. You want a divorce if you can't get rid of them. That's all you can tell her.
All right, whatever. I'll stare at the sun.
Really?
Yeah. Her cats just disappeared, and I'm like, end of story. We're getting divorced otherwise.
If we have to keep these cats, you're getting a divorce.
How many cats?
2 cats.
Yeah.
Are you a cat lover?
I'm more of a dog guy, but I like cats.
So you stare in the sun?
Yeah, I stare at the sun.
Do you think after 15 minutes staring, it doesn't even hurt anymore? You'd just be blind and the pain would be...
You would lose your sight if you stared at the sun for 30 minutes, I'm sure.
How long does it take, probably?
Good question. Let me look that up. But
They always say don't look at the sun during one of those eclipses. Is that just, Vicky, you're the
because the
educator.
radiation's hitting your eyes. It's just
But is that
burn
one of
your
those things
cornea.
where you have to look at it for more than 10 seconds? Or if you just kind of glimpse at it, you can go blind? Do you know the answer to that?
Did you miss the part where I said I was a reading teacher, not a science teacher?
Well, we'll read up on that. I did want to say really quick, I had brought up that deviltry story. I didn't finish talking about that. So this doctor is doing, I guess she's doing it weekly or monthly. What it is, let me just make sure that I'm giving you guys the right information. His name, it is, I don't have the information. I'm sorry. You know what? I don't have it. I thought I had it right here. But I guess she's going to this coffee shop, and she's each time she speaks, this doctor, about the Deviltree murders, she's going in depth, talking about what he did, and like I said, doing that.
I have
sensory.
a feeling I know who it is. Whenever you find it, if you could send me the name,
I will.
because I actually know someone who knows that person. If it's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay, very, very cool. Yeah, we'll get the information. We'll post it. Want to remind everybody, we are looking for someone to join our team. You got to be social media savvy. It's a non-paying gig. This is volunteer, love of the game, but you will start going on some of the ghost trips. If we are not with you, Vicky will be there, and you'll be helping us greatly. You'll be part of the team. Send me at JasonKVJ on my Instagram. Send me a personal DM. That's how we'll do that. We'll go through it that way, and we'll contact you. Do we have a cap off on that, Vicky? How many do you want? No more than?
Well, I need at least 2 new team
Okay,
members.
great. Love it. Beckett, do you have anything to add or to promote?
No, I just anyone that can send us a DM, whether weird or whatever, or me directly. My Instagram handle is @Beckett.
Okay.
Ideas, questions, topics, ideas. We were talking before the show. Some cool ideas, like out and about, maybe some horror movies or any ideas. Just throw them at us.
Yeah, our goal is to get a little bit more consistent with doing stuff on social media. We are going to, I talked to the guys earlier before the podcast, we are going to try to do it every Wednesday at 6 p.m. for at least 10 weeks. So that's what we're going to promise you guys. If we don't do that, Beckett promises he will
shave his head.
Give us a mohawk. I mean,
Do a reverse mohawk.
I can maybe do a faux hawk.
you would rock a mohawk. Mohawk's too good looking. Mohawk. Nothing against the Mohawk community. Don't be emailing me that I'm pissing off Mohawk people. All right, Vic, you got anything to add?
In the interest of the new year and the fact that the Weird and Whatever is back, I'm going to offer a free 10 minutes on the phone reading for the first 10 people who email me at contact@pointparanormal.com. So the first 10 people get 10 minutes for free.
Love it. Okay, Denny's got anything to add?
So if you look at the sun for up to 6 seconds, I pulled up the stats.
All right. Hey, blow our minds. It ended on a great factoid.
Up to 6 seconds, you get what is called photokeratitis, which is a sunburn of the eye. And the way it works is your eye convexes the light when it hits. It's kind of similar to holding a magnifying glass above paper, but the back of your eye flips the image and interprets it for us because we actually see everything upside down and reverse. So that's what's actually burning when you stare at the sun. If you do it for any longer than that, like it says based on whatever the quality of the sunlight is, if it's a cloudy day or an uncloudy day, you can get different results. But I mean, if you did it for more than 2.5 minutes, you're probably going to lose your eyesight.
Wow. Okay, very good. Denny's, nice. I love that.
Look at that.
Finishing strong.
Got a little competition between who the researcher of the show is now. Just kidding. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning in. We love you all, and Bigfoot is real.
What was that? What's that sound? It's aliens and they're living in your town.